afternoon, everybody. Welcome back here to the Gammain Sports Ground, the Den, the home of the Lions. Today, the Lions welcome the Eagles here to the Den, and unfortunately, the Eagles aren't quite soaring as well as they'd like to. But anyway, we'll see what they bring to the Den here today. Baz assures us. Welcome, Baz and Tammy. Thank you for your ability to put this broadcast together, and we had troubles with the last home game with the live stream, and Baz did everything possible, but it was beyond his control to bring you the live stream. Never mind, he assures us it's up and running today. So good afternoon, Baz, good afternoon, Tammy, and good afternoon to our commentator, Andrew.
Thanks very much, Guy. It's great to be here again on a lovely, glorious winter day here at the Gammain Sports Ground. Big shout out to Ben Cruikshank, our president, who is currently holidaying in Europe, and he'll be listening into this coverage, Guy.
Yeah, he's probably going to enjoy a nice leisurely breakfast somewhere in a lovely hotel, hopefully, Andrew, and he can get a look at his number one favourite team, the Lions. Of course, Ben in his inaugural year as president, so Ben stepped up to the job, and the Lions are running well this year on the paddock, on and off the field, you'd say, Andrew. Andrew, magnificent day, slight little breeze from the north, just a little bit of winter chill, but a beautiful afternoon for football. Yeah, nothing should impede the skills from either side. Few changes for the Lions, Andrew?
From last week, as Tom Bernulis is unavailable this week, and into the side, Jake Fairman, who has... this will be his first game of the year. He's been on Giants duties the first half, and so look forward to seeing Jake's performance today for the Lions. The Lions won the toss through captain Josh Walsh, and they'll kick to the road end. Narandra will kick to the dam end, and it'll be interesting to see how Narandra's got a couple of big name recruits there. Josh Borg from Sydney, along with Cooper Lee, and they've got another new player come into their side today, Gus Lee, also from the Sydney competition, Sydney University. So we have our eyes on those three fellas and see how their performance goes.
Yeah, well, that's, as I tell you every week, Andrew always brings us the news and what's new in the player world. Off the field today, great day here today for the ladies. It's Ladies' Day here at the Den today, so I think Andrew said it was about 70 ladies enjoying the hospitality here today, and that'll culminate tonight. I'll stop running over myself with the AFLW presentation tonight up at the Sports Club, Andrew.
Yeah, no, it should be a good evening. The girls finished third in the competition as umpire Cunningham throws it up for the first bounce, and Poole's wrapped up in a tackle there by Tom Anderson. Good strong tackle. He took it out of the ruck. Be a good contest between him and Dan Foley today. Poole again grabs it out of the ruck again and tackled quickly by Tom Anderson. Gets a hand pass away, heading Narandra's direction. Cable slips over there. Dan Foley grabs it onto Jack Powell, kicks one forward, and it's marked by Jesse Lander at centre half forward. Quick hand pass to Dan Foley, kicks that forward. It's on the ground there. That's grabbed by Lee. Gets a hand pass back to Quilter there, and back to Lee. And his hand pass is over the sideline there, and it'll be a throw-in.
We'll have the first throw-in of the game there out in front of the rubber bank. We enjoy the sponsorship from those guys.
So Jack McKegg, ruck duties in the forward line there. Has front position, grabs out of the ruck, has a quip snack, and it's bounced to the right, and it's out over the sideline.
Repeat throw in front of the Coolman Butchery. They supply the club just goes to them for all their meat.
Poole taps that down into the path of Lee. Coming through is Butters. He can't pick it up. Grabbed by Tom Anderson. Swings around on his left and has a shot at goal, but it's out on the full.
And another Coolman business there. Sponsored Mark Bradley Plumbing. So if you get a busted water pipe, which can happen in the frost, give Mark Bradley a call. So it's all Coolman the first few minutes, Andrew.
Yes, they'll be here next week, Coolman, in the clash of the local derby. As that ball's kicked in by Narandra, they attempt to clear across half-back there, but it's forced wide.
Another throw in out on the noble wing, as I call it, and in front of the Glenheath Border Leicester studs. Nathan and Wes and Will out there at Mangain.
Bit of close attention being applied to Matt Hamlin there by Cable at the moment.
Why wouldn't you?
Yes, he's racks up a heap of possessions as Dan Foley's held in the ruck there. Free kick right on the 50. Probably going to kick short. Good lead by Jack Powell there, and he marks strongly in front of the new player for the Narrandera Eagles, Gus Lee.
Should be a bread and butter goal for Jack Powell. But anyway, I'll reserve my judgment. But deft little kick from Dan Foley. Good lead out in front. Impossible to stop. Right foot, drop punt. Goal umpire doesn't move. Lions have opened the scoring at the Waterview Street end of the ground.
Of course, Jack Powell previously played with Narrandera.
So that might egg him on a little bit more extra today, Andrew.
Yeah, Jack will be keen to do well.
Not that he needs egging on. He's having a pretty good year. Got that upper body strength going for him.
Yeah, he's
Strong
very dangerous in the forward line, isn't he?
Strong overhead.
Yep. So umpire Madrudis to take the throw up. Coming in as Foley, high as Poole. He attempts to grab it out of the ruck again. Onto Renee, clearing kick out of the centre by Narrandera. Under this is Tom Quinn. Awkward bounce there. Uses his body well. Hand pass back to Sam Martin. He's wrapped up in the tackle. Can't get an arm free, and umpire Mavrudis will call for a ball up. Foley and Poole in the ruck. Foley taps that down into the path of Tom Anderson. He's tackled. Umpire will ball it up again.
Hold that line, mate. Hold that line.
Dan Foley grabs it out of the ruck. Gets a quick hand pass away. Coming through is Renee. He's tackled. His hand pass falls into the arm of Matt Hamlin. He gets a clearing kick forward. At centre forward, it's a good mark taken by Sid White. He plays on quickly. Kicks it long, looking for Shannon Butterfield. Spoiled by Narrandera. Gathered by Jack McKeag. Back to Jesse Landon. Snapped by Nate Hamlin. Is smothered. Players diving in on this one. Clearance there by Narrandera. Out to the half-forward flank. Gathered by Burhop. Sprints forward. Hand passes over the top to Jack McKeag. Kicks this one high to the hot spot. Sitting under this is Lucas Hattie. He can't take the mark. Gathered by Lee for Narrandera. Goes back to Veering. Gets his kick away quickly, and it's marked by Quilter on that boundary line. Still in the 50 metres. He'll chip one over the top. Looking for Borg there, but it's gathered quickly by Nate Hamlin. Drills it in forward there. Punched by Veering into the path of Matt Hamlin. Hand pass on to Jack Powell. He lines up for his second on the run. And he has no trouble. Kicks his second.
Yeah, dangerous. He's a dangerous player. He knows where to be. Nice little ditch out handball from Matt Hamlin. So after 5 minutes here at the Den, the Lions are 2 goals straight. The Eagles not on the board yet to score. So the Eagles under pressure early. And Andrew, the announcement through the week that this is Sam Martin's last year coaching at the Lions.
That's right, Guy. Yeah, Sam's been appointed captain coach of the Batemans Bay Seahawks, which are coming into the Canberra competition next year. They're currently playing the Community Division 1 and Division 2 part of that Canberra league, but they're coming into amongst the big boys. So Sam will be looking forward to coaching those the Seahawks next year, and probably try and draw on some of his South Coast mates to come and play for the Seahawks. So the ball's been cleared by the centre there. Quick hands by Narrandera, but coming through high is Tom Anderson, and a good tackle there by Jake Fairman. On Hodges. Kicks in field, but Borg marks in front of Burhop there. Rather tall midfielder, Borg. He looks for young Hutchison forward there. He can't take the mark. Josh Walsh cleans up, gets a hand pass back to Jack Sussay kicks around the corner and finds Nate Hamlin on that far side. Looks for Jesse Lander down the line, but the ball falls short. Regathered by Narendra. Send this one in. Under it is Swervin, but he can't take the mark. Gets his hand pass away. Quickly picked up by Jake Fairman there. Tearing out of defence. Kicks this one forward. It's smothered. Good pressure there by Narendra. Their ruckman Poole can't pick it up. And hand passed out there by Jackson Connolly. On to Matt Hamlin. Chips one over the top to Jake Taylor. He can run into an open goal. And that's the third for the Lions.
Really starting to make a name for himself, Andrew, in that small goal kicking forward role.
Yeah, he pops up for 2 or 3 goals the last few weeks, Jake, and he's previously been up on the wing, but finding he's a home now in the forward line there as a small forward.
Yeah, I think he's relishing it. Yeah.
He's worked hard over the last 3 years, and he's now cemented himself a permanent position there with the Lions. He's persevered.
We wait for the ball to be brought back. The ball went out on the road on that occasion, so had to be retrieved. That's why it's taking a little bit longer.
Yeah, some committee people think we should have nets behind the goals like they do at a lot of grounds.
I dare say it'll happen. Now
Prevent that ball going in the dam and from the road end going on the road. Back to the centre. Dan Foley and Poole in the ruck for Narendra. The umpire's pulled out something there. It's a free kick going to Renee. Something off the ball there. Umpire Cunningham picked that one out. So Blake Renee has the ball, chips one over the top and finds Poole. Just shy of centre forward. Hand passes to Gus Lee there, the new player for the Narendra. Kicks this one forward, spoiled by Jack Sussay, but regathered by Odgers there. He has a running shot at goal. Under this is Tom Quinn. It's gone over the back. Seb Hamlin has the fumbles there. Couldn't pick it up, and Tom Quinn's tackled in a bone-crunching tackle there. And an umpire called for a ball up.
Pretty topical, those ruck disputes, Andrew. Even the AFL commentators sometimes struggle to put an explanation on it, so we won't bother.
No. Some of the scribes calling for the wrestle to be taken out of the ruck again and go back to the 2 ruckmen coming straight at each other as Jake Fairman clears this one out of the defence, looking for Jack Bow. He regathers onto Jackson Connolly. Run here from the Lions, looking for Sid White forward. Takes a good strong mark in front of O'Brien. He come from behind on O'Brien, but he's been awarded the mark at centre half forward. Chips this one up, looking for Jesse Lander, but dropping back there is Renee for Narendra, and he takes the mark. Finds Gus Lee. Chips another one short, looking for Severin there. Previously played with CSU in the Farah League, but linked up with Narendra this year. He looks for Borg, but he can't take the mark. It's a push in the back. And he'll take the free kick right in front of the commentary box. Plays on now. Kicks this one long and high. Under it is Dan Foley. Takes a safe mark. Good work there by Jack Sussay off the ball to keep his opponent out of that contest. Goes wide to the far side and finds Brad Matters on the wing. Uses his left foot. Kicks forward. Renee tries to cut that one off. Regathers. Gets a hand pass long into the centre there. Numbers here for the Lions. Jaden Carroll can't pick it up. Kicked off the ground there by Narendra, wide, looking for Bloomfield. That's Shane Bloomfield's young fella, Kai. Drives a lot of trotters these days, Guy. Very successful in the trotting game, and that ball's gone out of bounds on the far side.
Well, they had a long association with the gallopers, and they've switched to the trotters, so that's good to see.
Yeah, Kai's father, Andrew, was a very good jockey, and of course, grandfather, Old Digger, had quite a few gallopers in his day. On his father too, Peter. As this ball's kicked forward, mark attempt there by Sid White. It hits the turf. Picked up by Jake Taylor. Hand pass misses its target. He has to regather. He's wrapped up in a tackle. Gets a hand pass back, looking forward. Jesse Lander there. Narendra player's been held without possession, and it'll go to Lee, Gus, that is, cross half back for Narendra. He comes in forward looking for Cooper Lee. Kips one over the top to Jaden Carroll. Gets a hand pass on to Gus Lee. Dodges round one. Kicks this one forward into the forward line. The ball's on the ground there. Severin racing the ball. Pressure by Josh Walsh and forces him over the sideline, and the umpire
will get a throw in out there in front of the Michael McCormick sponsors that portion of the ground out there. Parliament yet to resume after the election, so they're on a long break.
Ball thrown in. Hutchison taps that one down, but he's deemed to be pushed in the back, and umpire Simon Tarju pulls that one out. And Isaiah Hutchison will go back and have a shot on goal.
Kick from
40 metres.
Yeah, kicked a little bit over 40. He'll have to let go from, so it's within range. He fancies himself, Andrew. Puts the ball on the ground, pulls up his socks. No, puts his mouth guard in his sock, I'd say. So the Eagles here looking to get on the board at the northern end of the ground. Comes in on his left foot. It's going to fall short. Spills off the pack, touch behind. One behind to the Eagles.
Burhop to bring it in quickly. Zach Burhop, he elects to come to the club room side. He finds Tom Anderson deep in the pocket there. He's going to go long, looking for Jackson Conley or Jake Taylor. Under this is Jake Fairman. Ball's on the ground there, coming through as Tom Quinn gets a hand pass over the top to Matt Hamlin. But his kick smothered and it's out over the sideline. It'll be a throw in.
Throw in right below the commentary box here in the den. 13 and a half minutes gone in the first term. The Lions 3 goals straight. The Eagles 1 behind.
Poole grabs that out of the ruck, but he can't hold on to it. Gets a hand pass picked up by Jack Powell. On to Jackson Conley. On to Matt Hamlin. Back to Jake Fairman. He has a low shot at goal and he drills it through.
Yeah, no,
for the Lions 4.
The Lions just streaming there in numbers, Andrew. Had the ball, they could do what they like with it. Result, goal to Jake Fairman. Lions 4 goals straight now. Eagles 1 behind. 14 minutes gone. So just a little bit ominous early here for the Eagles. They're going to have to tighten up on those Lions ball movement players.
Yes, the Eagles have only had that one shot on goal to the Lions. 5 or so far in this first quarter. So Foley and Poole in the ruck. Foley taps that down to his feet. Olgers has held on to there, and no, it's going the other way. It's going to Dan Foley against Poole. I thought it might have been a hold on young Olgers by Dan Foley, but Foley to take the kick. Kicks this long and high, looking for Jack Powell. And he had to sit there, and
he had his eyes in the position all the way.
Drills one into the pocket and finds Lucas Hattie. We'll go back and have a shot on goal.
Yeah, well, Lucas had his opponent was in no man's land, and the ball was delivered over his head. Perfectly weighted, good lead from Lucas, and we've got a perfect shot right behind him. Comes in on his right foot, but he sprays it to the left. Be 1 behind.
First minor score for the Lions.
Lions 4-1-25, the Eagles 1 behind. 16 minutes gone now, first term. Beautiful winter sunny day here at the Gammain Sports Ground. Unfortunately, the Eagles players got to retrieve the ball there. We need more kids behind these goals, Andrew. Might have to start giving them a bit of pocket money to retrieve the balls.
Or nets.
Yeah.
So Cooper Lee to bring this back in for the Eagles. Looking to go this to the broadcast box side of the ground. High as Poole. He's got up high over Jack McKegg. That one would have hurt a knee to the buttocks, but the ball spills free. Coming through as Matters there. Olgers has the hand pass for Durandrick. Gets a kick forward there by his teammate in Mellon, and the ball's punched over the sidelines in front of the Narendra box.
Yeah, Jack McKegg might have a fair bruise there tomorrow, Andrew, from the big fella.
Copped a big knee from Poole.
He's come to the bench, I think, for get a bit of a rub. Don't blame him.
Dan Foley taps that down into the path of Shannon Butterfield, picked up by Matters onto Tom Anderson, gets his kick away forward into the forward line. Coming through is Lucas Hattie, and but it's a good strong mark to Connor Veering there, and probably would have been a free kick if it wasn't a mark. But he chips one short, finds Borg there on the wing. They look to be utilising his skill and height through the centre of the ground, but he's forced to kick backwards to Quilter, young Dale Quilter. And he's going to send one long up the line now, looking for Poole, but he slips over and it's an easy mark for Dan Foley. Comes back inside, finds coach Sam Martin. He can switch wide, looking for Joe Foley, a centre half back for the Lions. Can look forward and find, looking for Jackson Conley, goes through the legs of Pearson there. Jackson Conley centres this one, and good flying mark there by Gus Lee. He quickly plays on to Cooper Lee, but he falls over and hand passes into the legs of Jackson Conley, and the ball's held up there at centre half back. Good tackle by Lucas Hattie, and umpire Mavrutis calls for a ball up. Poole has no one to go up in the ruck against him as Jack McKegg's come from the ground, and the kick goes forward there to the centre of the ground. Gathered by Joe Foley, gets a hand pass back to Dan Foley, but he's tackled high, and he'll take the free kick. Goes long and wide. It's in the air a long time, that ball, but it finds Jackson Conley on the 50, and he chips one short and finds Jake Fairman, but he's going to have to kick this from 45, or he's going to have to kick from the 50.
Two well-weighted kicks there, Andrew. One a long one. In the finish, Jackson Conley, he had to propel backwards a little bit so that his opponent couldn't get there in time.
Kicks on its way. It's going to land in the goal square. High as Lucas Hattie, who almost takes a good strong mark as Jack Powell gathers the ball off the ground to Matt Hamlin, and a kick around the corner from Lucas Hattie. High, sitting under this is Jackson Conley, almost takes the mark, and the umpire says play on. Narendra attempt to clear this one, but it's gathered by Jake Taylor. He's swung it around in a tackle onto Tom Anderson. Drills this one into centre half forward through the hands of Dale Quilter for Narendra. Picked up by Olgers there. Gets a hand pass inside to Jaden Carroll. Back to Quilter. Chips one into the goal square and finds O'Brien. He goes wide, and it's a good mark in front there by Lee.
Umpires saying they got to hold the marks today, Andrew, which is fair enough.
Yep, that rule they brought in a couple of years ago, and he's been penalised, Jake Fairman. He's run off the mark before the umpires called play on, and it'll be a 50-metre penalty. No one actually on the mark, so he can play on, but he chips one forward, finds Olgers, back to Lee, back to Olgers. His kick is smothered. Onto Renee, he's flung around in a tackle there, and it'll be a free kick against Tom Anderson. Players have got to be very careful in that situation.
Yeah, they won't tolerate any sign of a swing in the tackle.
Renee, classy left footer, sends this forward, but it's a good mark to Joe Foley at centre half back. He looks to switch here for the Lions, comes across and finds Zach Burhop. He's going to kick this long, looking for Sid White on a good lead. Marks it on the wing there for the Lions in front of Hutchins. Goes back in the centre, but kick is a bit telescopic and is spoiled by Carroll there. Gathered by Narendra and wrapped up in a tackle. It's a ball up.
Joe Foley racking up the possessions in the first quarter too, Andrew.
Yeah, he's finding his way there in the back line as Jack McKegg's given a free kick. No, it's going to Borg there. He was shepherded in that contest. He's going to send this long and high. It's a roping, big, long kick. And under this is Seb Hamlin. Takes a good mark in front of Burhop. Both Lions players collided there, but Hamlin held on to it.
Bit more torque needed there, lads.
Exactly, yeah, as Tom Anderson brings this out of defence. He's having a very good year, Tom Anderson. He finds Jack Sussay and kicks forward, but it's over the head of Jake Taylor and picked up by Hutchins. He kicks this high back into the forward line there of Narandra, but it's all game, mate. It's a good mark there by Jack Sussay in defence. Goes short. Oh, that's a... Jack McKegg's in the wars today. Free kick to him in the back. Play on, says the umpires. Rolling forward. Jake Fairman races for this one. He's held on to when he hasn't got possession, and he'll get a free kick 30 metres out. Slips as he attempts to pass that one, and it's cut off by Cooper Lee. Just a little bit of composure needed there from the Lions, as his kick is almost marked by Nate Hamlin on the wing. It's gathered by Narandra. Hand pass over the top. Regathered by Nate Hamlin. He's wrapped up in the tackle, and the umpire called for a ball up.
Well, exactly what Jack McKegg didn't want today, just get mowed down from behind again. And it's happened within 10 minutes of his first one.
He's had that one in the buttocks, and then he's got one in the middle of the back, because Hutchison jumps high over Jack McKegg. And umpires awarded a free kick there to Borg. He plays on, but he's tackled by Jack McKegg from behind. His kick falls short. Picked up by Joe Foley. Hand pass to Matt Hamlin. Back to Sam Martin. He gathers it off his feet. Runs around one. Chips one over the top and finds Jack McKegg. He plays on. Chips around the quarter. Looking for Powell in the goal square, but it's going to go all the way. Goal, Jack McKegg.
You'd back him in from that situation rather than those set shots that I set him up for, Andrew. He's real good with that snapping. That'll take the pain out of his those blows that he's copped in his back and his buttocks, as you're calling it. So the Lions now move to 5-1-31. The Eagles one behind with 24 minutes gone. So we're on the cusp of quarter time here at the Den.
So Jack McKegg back in the ruck, up against young Isaiah Hutchison. Big leap by Hutchison down into the path for Renee. Hand passes back to Cable with a K. Kicks this one forward, and it's marked by Zach Burham at centre half back. He quickly plays on, chips one over the top and finds Joe Foley, who's having plenty of the ball in this first quarter. Kicks it long down the wing and finds Matt Hamlin. Gives one to Tom Anderson. He's marked there. Back to Matt Hamlin. Can send this one long and low into the forward line. Almost marked by Dan Foley. Spoiled there by Quilter. Gathered by Renee. Gets a hand pass to Hutchins. Back to Aldous there. Has to kick around on his left. And sitting under this one is Tom Anderson. It's on the ground there. He tackles Aldous, but it's out over the sideline. It'll be a throw in.
So we'll have a throw in out there at Gamain Hotel. Great sponsors. We welcome them as sponsors.
Jack McKegg and Hutchison in the ruck. Hutchison front position, but it's gathered from behind by Jack McKegg. Kicks around the corner high. Sitting under this is Sid White. It's rolling through the... no, it doesn't make the behinds. It's out over the sideline.
Be another throw in there in front of the Coolum Butchery sign. And also we've got the Gamain Bowling Club sponsoring there behind the goals at the Waterview Street end of the ground. There it is. The siren goes for quarter time here at the Gamain Sports Ground. Lions 5-1-31. The Eagles one solitary behind. Andrew, the Eagles with a bit in front of them.
Yes, no, it was well, by the Lions, probably not an overproductive quarter, but they finished with 5 goals, 1 to Narandra's 1 behind. They've just... there's a few skill areas there for Narandra. They've got plenty of run off half-back, which we knew they'd have with Cooper Lee and their new inclusion, Gus Lee. There's plenty of run from there. They just need to find some targets further afield and get that score on the board.
Yeah, the line at the present moment, the Lions back line just on top, and the Lions, pretty obvious, they're dangerous when they're inside their 50. They're nearly virtually scoring every time they go in. So commentators, technical people will have a drink, and we'll bring you the second quarter shortly.
For all your AG, vet chemicals, fertilizer and bulk fuel, go to Logan and Hitchens.
Ganmain and District Sports Club, a place to celebrate and much, much more.
So we're back for the start of the second quarter here at the Den. As those that attended the huddles disperse from the ground. The Eagles will kick to the right of screen this time, the Waterview Street end. Hopefully that's the scoring end, Andrew, and Eagles can land a few on the scoreboard.
Yeah, well, they're starting with young Hutchinson in the ruck and Pools at full forward, so they're on the attack. As umpire Tardew throws this up, coming across to Hutchinson's side is Foley. He taps that back to Matt Hamlin. His hand pass is smothered by Gus Lee, Cable there for the Eagles, and it's a good strong tackle there by Josh Walsh on Severin. Foley in the front, tapped over the top by Hutchison. Borg tries to break the tackle, but it's wrapped up there by Jack Powell, and the umpire call for a ball up. Foley with front position, taps that forward, but he's wrapped up in a tackle, gets his hand pass away to Tom Anderson, gets a quick kick forward, but he's tackled high as he disposes of that, and the ball will come back to Tom Anderson. Free kick against Borg. Go wide, finds Josh Walsh on the wing. Sends this one long, looking for Zach Burhop, and kick finds its mark. He's marked in front of the scoreboard. Got Sid White on a strong lead, but he trips. And the ball's forced over the sideline by O'Brien, and it'll be a throw-in.
Throw in there in front of the Harris Contracting. So Sean and the boys very busy. The last of the crops going in now.
Jack McKegg grabs it out of the ruck. And it's picked up by Lucas Hattie. Has a shot at goal, but it's through for another behind for Lucas.
Lions 5-2, 32. Eagles still with that single solitary one behind. 2 minutes gone now, second term. Sponsors down there at the northern end of the ground. Alan Harris McDonald, Elders Wagga Wagga, John Banson Co. We thank them for their sponsorship. Can't run a club today without good sponsorship. Costs a lot of money to keep a football, netball club percolating, Andrew.
Yes, there's a lot of cost, Guy, as Cooper Lee brings this in and finds Gus Lee, kicks this long down the line. Sitting under it is Joe Foley, and coming through is Tom Quinn, who forces it over the sideline, so it'll be a throw-in.
Throw in there right in front of the kiosk and the opposition bench, the Eagles bench. Ruck's nominating.
Ball thrown in. Tapped down by Hutchison into the path of Joe Foley. Gets a hair pass back to his brother in Dan. Can switch this one into the centre of the ground. Finds Burhop. He plays on quickly, looking for Jesse Lander. It's through his hands over the back to Matt Hamlin. He tries to pick it up. Coming through his Cable there, and it's clearance by Lee there, but it's cut off by Zach Burhop in front of the scoreboard. Chips one short, looking for Lucas Hattie, and it's forced out over the sideline by Renee.
And a throw in out there in front of Louis Dreyfus. They've got that grain delivery up there between Coolaman and Mara. And let's hope, Andrew, the rain continues and that site takes a lot of grain this year.
Yeah, well, they've got a lot of grain up there at the moment, Guy. They've got a bit to move, but I'll get the job done as the ball is thrown in there, and a clearance here by Lee again. He's been good for Naranda across half-back. He goes forward looking for Olgers. A contest between him and Jack Sussay. He breaks the tackle. Gets his hand pass away looking for Severin. Ball bounces in front of him, gathered by Josh Walsh. Back to Jack Sussay. He can go wide looking for Nate Hamlin. He puts the ball out in front of him. Few witters bounce for him and plays on quickly, looking for Tom Anderson. And pressure here by Renee. He gathers it. Coming off half-back is Quilter. Good play here by Narendra, and finds his teammate on that half-forward flank in Bloomfield. He can play on quickly now, runs around, kicks it towards the centre of the ground. Under this is Severin, he can't take the mark as Josh Wall spoils, and on to Lee, who's pushed down. And the kick's downfield, and it'll be a free kick to Naranda in the goal square.
Yeah, might just have been a little bit too much aggression in that tussle in the goal square, was there, Andrew?
Oh, so it was a late
late
hit
okay.
on the kicker.
Okay.
So Poole will take the kick, and he puts through Narandra's first goal.
So the Lions 5-2-32, Eagles 1-1-7. 5 minutes gone here in this second term. As Andrew said there, the first major for the Eagles, and they'll be desperate to pop a few more on the board at that Waterview Street end of the ground, the southern end of the ground. If there is a breeze, it's favouring that end, but it's negligible.
Yeah, not much movement in the flags there over on the scoreboard.
Not enough for Naranda, the Eagles to bank on, Andrew. They've got to put in the effort. The wind, the breeze won't help them enough.
Well, they had good contributions from the Lee boys there across half-back. As Gus kicked that one forward on that occasion. Back in the ruck, Hutchison taps that one down, regathers onto Renee. Clearance here by Naranda out of the centre, going high, looking for Alders, but Jack Sasse has back position. He regathers and takes this one away for the Lions. He comes inside, finds Tom Anderson. He's taken the mark there across half-back. Gets a hand pass on to Jack Powell. Kicks up towards the wing there. Good spoil there by Lee, and he wraps up his Germain opponent in Nate Hamlin there, and it'll be a ball up. Down, ruck comes down to Dan Foley, regathers, hand pass is smothered. And Germain player dives on the ball there, Jesse Lander, and it's another holding tackle there in front of the scoreboard, another ball up. No, he's pulled one out there.
Free kick, Tom Anderson.
May have dragged that back in the Naranda opponent in Lee. So Tom Anderson kicks this forward to centre half forward, and Naranda has numbers there. Coming through is Jake Fairman. His hand pass is cut off by Naranda, and clearing kick out of defence high. Looking for Borg. Tom Quinn has front position. He falls over there, picked up by Severin. He tries to break one tackle, then another. Gets this one on to Boag. He can have a running shot at goal. Takes one bounce. Tries to dodge around another one. Gets a hand pass forward looking for Olgers. He breaks one tackle and he misses.
Did everything
to the left.
Did everything bar kick the goal. Unfortunate there for the Eagles in that situation. The Lions 5-2-32. The Eagles 1-2-8. 7.5 minutes gone now. Second term. It's pretty good entry, pretty good play leading up to that for the Lions, Andrew. But he ran out of room. He had to kick it. He's under pressure from his Lions opponent. Just didn't have the accuracy.
Yeah, well, Narandra's stepped up this second quarter. They've had a fair bit of the ball. There's a clearing kick out of defence here as Blake Renee jumps high and early, but the ball's gone over the back and picked up by Jake Fairman. Here passes one on to Jack Powell, back to Jake Fairman. He can run into the 50 here and has a running shot at goal, and he's drilled it. He's all class, this young fella, and he's put that through.
Well, that's exactly what the Eagles didn't want, a fast exit out of their forward line. Lions took it down with clean cut possessions all the way, and a goal, resulting in a goal northern end of the ground. Lions 6-2-38, Eagles 1-2-8. 9 minutes gone now, second term. Well, that hurts, Andrew, just when the Eagles they'd be trying to trap that kick in, but they muffed it up.
Back to the centre of the ground. Isaiah Hutchison jumps high, but it's gathered by Jake Fairman. Kicks this one around the corner looking for Shannon Butterfield. He can't take the mark. It's on the ground there, gathered by Renee. Clearing kick out of the fence and finds Pearson on that far side gets one back to Renee. Drills one forward on his left, looking for Bog, but his mark is spoiled by Tom Quinn, and it's over the sideline there on the 50. Throw in.
Once again, the throw in out there in the Noble pocket. We've got the Gammain Bakery alongside with the Gammain Hotel there, sponsoring that area of the ground.
Foley and Hutchison the ruck. Can't determine who won that one, but the ball's on the ground there. Good pressure by the Lions. Narandra diving on the ball there through Pearson, and he's tackled, and umpire Cunningham will call for another ball up. Dan Foley from position, taps this down into the path of Jake Fairman. It's out of bounds. It'll be a throw in.
Once again, the sponsors there, the Kembers with their Border Leicester stud, and alongside there, the Gammain News Agency.
Big throw in there. Under this is Dan Foley. Little depth tap behind him, but it's overrun by his Lions teammate. He regathers, hand passes wide and finds Tom Anderson on the run. Kicks this one high, looking for Sid White sitting under it. He almost takes the mark and been awarded for a free kick over the shoulder. He marks this, takes this kick in front of the scoreboard, looking to move it on quickly. Comes inside and finds Shannon Butterfield. Takes a good pressured mark there. Plays on quickly and finds Jake Fairman inside the 50 there. He's 40 metres out. He's going to go back and have a shot.
He'll have to kick from a little bit over 40, I think, Andrew, but should be, it's within his distance.
Yeah, it should be about his range. He runs around slightly, but
No,
that's
he's got
not a
under
good
it.
kick, and it's out on the full.
Well, we got the distance. It's carried the boundary, but it's carried the boundary outside the point post on the in that pocket there, right over the Grain Corp sign.
So O'Brien to take the kick for Narandra. Kicks this high, looking for the wing position, but jumping high as Brad Matters takes a good strong mark there on the 50. Plays on quickly, drills this inside, looking for Tom Anderson. Ball's on the ground there. Good tackle by Shannon Butterfield on Narandra opponent. And umpires call for a ball up there. Jaden Carroll was the Narandra player with the ball. Front positions Jack McKeegan the ruck. The ball's gone over the back, gathered by Renee there, and he's deemed to be caught, veering that was, deemed to be caught with the ball. Good tackle by Jackson Conley, and he'll go back. I think it might be beyond Jackson's range too, but
He fancies it, but he's going to go for it. He's going for it. No, I thought he thought about the torpy, but he's come in with a drop punt, but it'll fall short.
sent high, flying high was Power. He's pushed his opponent in the back. Narandra play on through Hutchins. Finds Aldist here. He elects to switch cross goals to Quilter. Chips one short and finds Veering. He can link up then with Bloomfield on that far wing. Comes inside for Poole, the ruckman in the centre of the ground. Looks for Jaden Carroll, finds him. Narandra bringing it back whence it came to Cooper Lee. It's rolling in front of him. He regathers. He can send it down the clubhouse wing. Hand passes one on to Aldist. Back to Lee. Back to Aldist. Kick smothered there by the Lions. On to Matt Haney. Gets hand back to Jake Taylor. Back to Matt Hamlin. He takes one bounce. Streaming down the wing there. Gets one wide to Tom Ansons on a hand pass. Chips one up looking for Jack Powell. It's gone over the back of them. Still in the field of play. Gathered by Powell on the run. He swings on his left with a banana kick and hits the post. Would have been a magical goal.
Yeah, what? All stemmed, Andrew. The Eagles play broke down here in front of the commentary box just below us. They were linking handballs and they just run out of space. Too many. They run into too many lines. Should have been a kick there somewhere.
So Lee to bring this back in for the Eagles. He'll come to the clubhouse side. Kicks this high, looking for Poole. Pressure on Dan Foley there. Grabbed by Jake Taylor. Renee had him wrapped up in a tackle as Sam Martin comes in to remonstrate. Poole taps that down into the path of Lee.
Jack McKeag off, Lucas Hattie on. Jack might get in a little bit more treatment.
Ball thrown up. Poole in front, taps it down. Regathers, kicks this forward looking for Wise. He keeps his feet there but can't pick it up. Gets a hand pass forward to Renee. He's wrapped up the tackle there. Good pressure by the Lions. Back to Matt Hamlin to Tom Quinn. Hand pass to Matt Hamlin. Can go through the centre of the ground there looking for Jackson Conley. He gathers, dodges around his opponent veering, but he's hand pass to Carroll for the Eagles. He kicks wide looking for an aid. He's marked in front of the Narandra box. Chips one short looking for Borg and he takes a juggling mark in front of Sam Martin. He's called back on his mark. He's called to play on. He's undecided where to go and kicks this one long and high. Sitting under it is Dan Foley and it takes a good strong mark. A good ruckman's mark across half back. Looks to come inside. He's got Jackson Conley all on his own in the centre of the ground. Hand pass to Tom Quinn, streaming through the middle, takes a bounce. Sends this long and low looking for Jack Powell, but it's a good spoil by Cooper Lee and veering is forced over the sideline. That'll be a throw in.
So throw in there right in front of the Tin's Pharmacy sign. Got Tin with his pharmacy in the main street at Gammain. Does terrific service to the community.
Ball thrown high. Jack Powell on the ruck with Poole, but he uses his strength, gets his kick away. It rolls forward towards the goals. Quick hand pass by Sid White onto a running Matt Hamlin who scores for the Lions.
He was never going to miss that one, Andrew.
It was a great handball by Sid White. Yep. He was under pressure, lightning fast, and Matt Hamlin rolls into an open goal.
Plenty of talk there in the Lions forward line. They know where each other are, where they're going to be. They know that someone's going to be running past. Andrew, time and again, the Eagles are just breaking down. They just can't penetrate that half-back line for the Lions. They can work their way up the wing, and they just run out of options. They just run into a wall almost.
Yeah, they were attempting to put the shackles on the Lions this quarter, and it was working there for 10 minutes, but the Lions have been able to break free this last 5 minutes and score a couple of quick goals. So back to the centre of the ground as Poole comes charging at Dan Foley in the ruck, but the ball comes into the path of Matt Hamlin onto Jake Fairman, kicks this high into the goal square. Under this is O'Brien, gathered by Jack Powell, swings around on his left, and the ball's touched on the line.
Let off there for the Eagles. Lions 7-4, 46. Eagles 1-2-8. Nearly 18 minutes gone now.
Cooper Lee brings this into the clubhouse side. Front position is Severin, but it's gathered by Renee. Hand passes back around to the corner to Poole, onto Severin. Looks to chip this in short, but it's all Tom Quinn. It's all Lions across half-back. Comes inside, finds Burhop. Kicks one looking for Matt Hamlin. He marks in the centre of the ground, plays on quickly. He's got Jackson Conley. He's been getting plenty of the ball, but his kick smothered. And that Sam Martin attempts to pick it up, and it's locked up there in the middle of the ground. The umpire called for a ball up.
Yeah, Jackson Conley in all the play, Andrew.
Foley and Poole in the ruck. Foley wins that tap, but he's wrapped up in a tackle there as he dives on the ball, and their Andrew opponents calling for a court, but umpire Mavridis throws it up again. Dan Foley taps that down into the path of Jake Fairman, on to Tom Anderson, back to Jackson Conley. Can kick wide, looking for Matt Hamlin. Uses his superior speed and takes that mark in front of Cable. He'll be a tired lad at the end of the day, chasing Matt Hamlin around, and the kick goes forward, but it's forced over by Narandra in that pocket.
Throw in out there in front of the Gammain Sports Club. good sponsors of the Lions, and of course the Lions will finish up there after the game, and the Lions W side will have their presentation this evening. So some of those girls on the Ladies' Day, they might come alive tonight, Andrew.
Yes, they've been pretty quiet the first half, but we'll look to them to come to voice in the second as Narendra attempt to clear this ball through Cable into the centre of the ground there. Almost a good mark by, juggling mark by Dan Foley. Chips this forward and finds Jake Fairman inside the 50, but on his previous kicks, it's probably going to be beyond him, Guy.
He fancies it. He's going back to give himself plenty of room. Andrew, Dan Foley's having a marking field day. He's giving a marking display around the ground. The big Pamandi ruckman.
Yep. As Fairman kicks this one high to the goal square, and it's marked right on the line by Poole. He plays on, kicks it out wide and finds Pearson. Looks to come back inside. The kick's got to be good, and it is. It finds Olgers. He goes out the other side. Pressure here by Nate Hamlin on Boag. That was Renee there, but picked up by Boag onto Odgers. Back to Renee, on quick hands onto Odgers, but his kick under pressure falls into the arms of Josh Walsh across half back. He goes wide looking for Lucas Hattie on that far wing. He marks. Quickly hand passes on to Tom Anderson, sends this into the forward line, looking for Matt Hamlin, but it's spoiled there by Cable. And it'll be another throw in.
Actually, Dan's mother and father might chip me, Andrew, because I think they classify themselves more Cow-Obby than Pamandi, but anyway, doesn't matter, we'll accept them.
Throw in there, Jack McKeegan, the ruck, and Poole. Poole taps this down to O'Brien. He's wrapped up in a tackle. And the umpires deemed he was held a little bit too long there. And so O'Brien to take the kick for Narendra. Chips one wide, looking for Olgers. Kicks it along the line, looking for Severin. He marks there on the wing in front of Burhop. Chips a little one over the top, looking for Jaden Carroll. He marks right on that true wing position. Another chipping short kick, finds Odgers again, who's pushed up. You can send this long to centre half forward, looking for Isaiah Hutchinson. Front position is Sam Martin. He comes through and regathers. Tries to get his hand pass away, and he's got one over the shoulder. Free kick, Sam Martin. Play on quickly, into the centre of the ground, finds Seb Hamlin. Gives a hand pass back to Tom Anderson, takes one bounce, sends this one long and high to the goal square. Sitting under it is Lucas Hattie, spoiling his lee there for the Eagles. The ball's on the ground there, gathered by Hutchins, and he's wrapped up in a tackle, and the umpire will call for a ball up.
We're fast approaching half-time. 22 and a half minutes gone now.
Ball gathered there by Lee. That's Gus. He's kicked forward there into the path of Zach Burhop. Gets a hand pass back to Tom Anderson. He's wrapped up in a strong tackle and deemed to be a dump tackle. It wasn't overly excessive, but he gets the free kick. Tom Anderson to kick this from 53, 54 metres. Elects to go short, looking for Jake Fairman. He's caught in a tackle. Gets his hand pass away to Jack Power, who's just come off the bench. Swings around and comes back to Joe Foley. He can send this long and high. Gets a little hand pass to Sam Martin. Kicks this long and low, looking for Matt Hamlin. Through his hands, coming through is Narendra there. In Lee, picked up by Burhop. Back to Matt Hamlin, and one over the top to Nate Hamlin. He can have a running shot on goal. And he scored a 6-pointer for the Lions.
The Lions now 8-4, 52. The Eagles 1-2-8 with 24 minutes gone now in the second term. Andrew, those boys that were away early in the year playing through the academy, that's stood them in good stead, I reckon.
Yeah, they were playing some good football, Jake and Nate. And they had a good series there playing for the Giants. Couple of trips to Sydney and up to the Gold Coast, and it was good experience for him.
Oh, terrific experience.
It's back to the centre of the ground. Poole wins the ruck, but it's tapped down into the path of Borg there, and an umpire call for a ball up. Poole, good tussle between him and Foley in the ruck. He taps it down, but it's a push out on Renee there on Jake Fairman. He'll take the kick in the centre of the ground.
Can the Eagles buy one before half time? No, he's gone wide.
He's forced to kick wide and finds young Hutchins. He goes wider again and finds Bogue in front of the broadcasting box. Kicks one over the top. Attempted mark there by Jaden Carroll. Grab it by Jackson Conley onto Sam Martin. Back to Tom Quinn. He's under pressure. Got to get his hand pass away onto Jackson Conley. He's tackled without it. Play on, says the umpire.
Umpire eventually have to ball it up here, right below the commentary position. Eagles running out of time. They're desperate to get a major before half time.
As Foley taps that down, but coming through his lead, kicks this high, and it's a good, strong mark to Hutchison. Young Isaiah Hutchison.
I've done everything I can to get them a goal, Andrew. He's just got to convert for us now.
Young fella plays a lot of basketball. He's very handy at that as well. And
they've had limited entries this quarter. We're right behind him. No excuses. Slight angle. No, he's muffed it to the right.
Through for a behind.
Lions 8-4, 52. The Eagles 1-3-9. Unless they mark it from this rebound, I fear they're out of time.
Zach Burhop to bring this back in for the Lions. It's Narandra's manned up on every Gammain opponent as the siren goes. The end of the second quarter. The Lions put on 3 goals to Narandra's 1.
Well, the Lions here in a similar position as a fortnight ago, Andrew, against the Tigers. Unfortunately, the opposition just not up to it. Mark Carroll, no stranger to this ground, the coach of the Eagles. He's going to have to give them a bit of a talking to at half-time. I'm not sure what he can do, but to stem the flow. Just too many winners for the Lions right across every line virtually. Dan Foley dominating in those round the ground. And the younger Lions that have come back, especially those guys that have come back from the academy duties. The Eagles will just have to pick them up and try a bit harder somehow. That's my thoughts, Andrew. What can you add before we wind up for half-time?
Yeah, well, I suppose the scoreboard is not reflecting the dominance of the Lions either. Like the Lions have had plenty of the ball and controlled the game, but it's just, yeah, Narandra's doing quite a good job. Flooding back in defence there and making it difficult for the Lions to score freely. They're having to use a lot of possessions to get their goals, the Lions. But Sam Martin be looked to open it up this third quarter and score a bit more freely, I'd imagine.
Commentators, camera operators, will take a break, have a drink, might have a cup of tea. We'll come back, bring you the second half shortly.
Amazing service and carefully sourced homewares and furniture. Fisher and Farmer.
Coolaman Butchery, a great place to meet up. Yummy yum yum.
Ganmain Bakery and the famous Ganmain pies. If you can bake it, we make it.
Great pub accommodation and icy cold beers. Ganmain Hotel for good quality pub grub.
So we await the commencement of the third quarter here at the Ganmain Sports Ground. Andrew went into the rooms. Andrew, quick message.
Yeah, Sam Martin was keen for the a bit more conversion, a bit more of a score on the board with what ball usage they had. So they Need to twig a few things there as we're back to the start of this third quarter, and a clearance here by Narandra. Through Renee, kicks this high, jumping for a big attempted mark of the day there was Jack Sussay, couldn't quite hold on to it. Would have brought the ladies to life as the ball comes through to the centre of the ground there to Shannon Butterfield on to Jack Sussay, kicks this wide, looking for Brad Matters, he marks on the wing. Can hand pass over the top to Zach Burhop. Straightens up, kicks this infield, looking for Jake Fairman. The ball's on the ground there, almost gathered by Jack McKegg. Picked up by Jake Fairman, gets a hand pass on to Matt Hamlin. Tries to dodge around one. Goes on his left, ball bounces through the hands of Lee onto the path of Lucas Hattie. And it's the first goal to the Lions to start this third quarter.
So inside a minute, the Lions have scored at the southern end of the ground, the Waterview Street end of the ground. Less than a minute. Not what the Eagles wanted after half-time. The Lions 9-4, 58. Eagles 1-3-9 with that goal to Lucas Hattie.
Yes, Lucas Hattie finding himself across half-forward line for the Lions. Still eligible for the under-17s, but he's having a consistent year.
Another one of those guys, he's sort of becoming an opportunist, Andrew, you'd say.
Yes, it's a difficult position to play, that half-forward flank, but he's making the most of it as the ball comes back to the centre of the ground there. Tapped down by Hutchison, picked up by Matt Hamlin. He gets a hand pass forward, looking for Jake Fairman. He's wrapped up in a tackle there, and umpire will call for a ball up. Foley and Hutchison in the ruck. Foley taps it into his hands, but he's tackled there by young Hutchison, and there'll be another ball up. Dan Foley taps that down into the path of Matt Hamlin. Tries to get his kick away, he's tackled. Cable lets him know about it.
Might be lucky if the Eagles don't reverse his free kick here shortly.
Yes, got to be very careful there. As the ball goes wide to Cooper Lee, who takes the mark across half back there for Narandra. Looks to come inside, a switch. Finds Hutchison. He's got veering on his own here in front of the broadcasting box. Kicks forward and finds him. Goes back inside, it's a little chip, finds Lee. He can switch again if he likes, but might be forced to kick down the line. Goes wide looking for Renee, but coming onto the ground to take a mark is young Warren Porteous. He kicks forward and finds Bogue. On the wing there, looks to send this long and high. It's going forward. Under it is Josh Walsh, who comes over the top. Big spoil out into the path of Matt Hamlin. Back to Matters. Kicks inside and finds Jack Sussay on to Seb Hanlon. Chips one short, looking for Jack McKegg. Puts it in front of him. He regathers before the boundary line. Hand pass to Butterfield. Shannon on to Jesse Lander. Running on is Jack McKegg. Sends this one in deep into the forward line. Under it is Powell, and Quilter Powell first to respond. Has a little chip kick at goal, and it's through for a behind.
The Lions 9-5, 59. The Eagles 1-3-9 with 4 minutes gone now in the third term. Still beautiful winter afternoon here at the Gammain Sports Ground.
So Lee to bring this back in.
Chance
to
of
the
rain.
broadcasting side.
Chance of rain tomorrow, which we'll take.
Marked by Beale on to Lee. His hand passes errant into the path of Alders. Wrapped up in a tackle by Matt Hamlin. And it'll be a ball up. Ball thrown up. Dan Foley grabs it out of the ruck. Breaks the tackle from Asaya. Hutchison. Hand pass on to Matt Hamlin. Then to Lucas Hattie. On to Jake Fairman. And ball's over the sideline.
Once
It'll
again,
be a throw in.
In that area, we've got the Coolman Butchery and the Rabobank. We thank them for their sponsorship. little bit of feeling here on the ground.
Yes, umpires holding up play there. They should get play on, and that'll break it up. Ball thrown in. Jack McKegg taps it down, looking for Tom Anderson. Kicks it off the ground, through from behind.
Repeat throw in that same area. Oh no, one behind. Had my eye on the melee.
Yeah, well, Matty Hamlin's getting a heavy tag there by Cable, and players from the Lions are offering a bit of support as Dan Foley pushes his opponent, Isaiah Hutchison, in the back. Kicks one wide. It's good spoil there by Zach Burhopper over the sidelines in front of the change rooms, and it'll be a throw-in.
Well, the problem for the Eagles, Andrew, is Matt Hamlin's not the only one they've got to pay close attention to.
Yes, there's a number of other Lions players out there, and ball's thrown in. It's marked by Dan Foley in the ruck, and gets his deemed to be caught with the ball, and it'll be a free kick to Isaiah Hutchison.
Yeah, I think to be fair to the umpire, he gave Dan a bit of leniency to get rid of it.
He gave him time.
Yep.
And now he's under pressure there as hand pass back inside to Borg. His hand pass misses Quilter. He's tackled there by Jack McKegg. Narandra's forced backwards there, and O'Brien marks it.
They've gone 50 metres backwards from where they received the initial free kick.
It's a mark there to Borg. He goes wide looking for Lee, but it's almost marked there by Tom Quinn. Picked up by Hutchison. His kick is turned it over, gathered by Brad Mattis. He can come into the centre of the ground. He's got Jake Fairman under this one. He can play on quickly, looking for Jack Power in the goal square. Through his hands. Rebound there by Jackson Conley. He hasn't got hold of the ball, and he's tackled without possession, and he'll take the free kick.
Well, it's just a case, Andrew, the Lions are just first in for the ball, and they're being rewarded on most occasions. And if you're first in and you get tackled, and if you don't have the ball, well, the umpires, they're going to pay it. But he's Jackson Conley there, he had eyes for the ball, that's all he wanted to do, and the player impeded him before he got there. So whistle's gone in the centre of the...
It's been reversed.
It's been reversed, so that's bad blue for the Lions there.
Yes, I'm not sure what happened there, but...
So Jackson Conley was shooting for goal at the southern end of the ground. There's a dispute in the middle, so the result is the Eagles have a free kick in the centre of the ground.
Yes, so it's turned over there. It's a bit of feeling starting to come into this game. Borg kicks this wide to Aldous, then on to Veering, who marks this in front of the change rooms. Kicks one low, short, finds Renee. Takes a mark there. He'll look to send this forward for the Eagles, but he switches it back to Borg. He marks it on the wing.
So the Eagles will come out with a little bit more fire, but can they convert? That's what they've got to do.
He's going to send this one long and low into the forward line. Almost marked there by Josh Walsh. He doesn't have possession. No, it's gone the other way. It was hard to read that one. I didn't think he had possession of the ball, but anyway, it's a free kick to Bloomfield there for the Eagles.
The only thing I could say, Andrew, incorrect disposal. If he had the ball, I guess that's what he's been pinged for. Anyway, it matters little. The Eagles have a shot at the northern end of the ground. He'll have to kick from 40 metres, 45-degree angle. Perfect conditions. Gets under it, right foot drop punt. Doesn't make the distance.
Almost a mark to Dan Foley. Gets his hand pass away, and it's forced over the sidelines. Be a throw-in.
Throw in there in front of the, I think it's the Narandra Gas Centre. Still feeling down there in the pocket. A lot of talk now.
Ball thrown in, gathered by Dan Foley in the ruck. On to Tom Quinn, on to Jake Fairman. Matt Hamlin's wrapped up in a tackle.
Once again, a little melee breaking out. Umpire elects to throw it up, disperse the players.
The ball's thrown up. It's going to have to be thrown up again. Umpire's trying to take control of the game. The melee continues.
I'd suggest the Lions were not happy with the treatment handed out to Jake Pham and Andrew, being a little fellow. He received a bit of treatment. Whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong, I don't know.
Just trying to work out who's going to take possession of this ball, and it's going back to Jack Sussay.
Jack Sasse, well, there you go.
Lions just need to regain their composure and play football here. As it comes back to Sab Helen, he kicks wide, looking for Brad Matters. It's gathered by Jake Taylor inside the boundary. Goes back one way, then the other. Gets his hand pass forward onto Jackson Conley. Comes inside, but it's cut off by Dale Quilter. Marks there across half back.
Both sides need to regain their composure. Concentrate on the football.
Kicks this one forward. It's a good mark by Renee there on the wing. Goes inside. Looking for ball, but he slips over. Back to Jackson Conley, on to Jesse Lander. Tom Quinn. Fumble there from the Lions. The ball's gathered by Jack McKeggett, on to Jackson Conley. Sends this forward looking for Matt Hamlin. He takes the mark, plays on. Tries to dodge around. And he's kicked it behind. Bit of indecision there from the Lions. Just need to get back on track.
Yeah, I think just to take a breather and steadier for the Lions, or both sides. The aggression's not helping the Eagles. They're not scoring.
As Cooper Lee looks to bring this in.
Lions 9-7-61. The Eagles 1-3-9. 12 minutes gone now. Third term.
Goes up the centre of the ground there. Josh Walsh dives on top of this one, but he's tackled there at the half-forward line. The umpire Cunningham will ball this up. Gathered by Poole out of the ruck. Sharked there by Lee. Kicks this one forward. It's high, and it's a good mark by Severin there on the wing there for the Eagles. He's got numbers inside. Looks to go wide. Then goes back and kicks this long, looking for Hutchison, but it's a good mark there by Joe Foley. Used the body well, kicks across goal, finds Burhop. He's got Lucas Hattie coming forward, back to Burhop. Can kick this down in front of the club rooms, looking for Jake Taylor. It's gone through his hands. Hutchison there regathers. Hutchins, that is, back to Aldous. Looks to send this forward, smothered by Sam Martin, on to Lucas Hattie, to Conley, to Seb Hamlin, to Jack Sussay. Run here from the Lions through the centre of the ground onto Nate Hamlin. Breaks around one tackle, back to Jesse Hamlin, to Nate Hamlin. He can have a running shot at goal.
It's a goal,
and that's
Andrew.
the answer. That's the way to reply. It's a goal to the Lions.
Well, that's the best way for the Lions to answer any opposition, Andrew. It doesn't matter what quality they are. Get back on their game. Get back on their slick passing, running. Good link-up play there through the centre there, and a great goal. The Lions 10-7-67. The Eagles 1-3-9. 14 minutes gone now. Third term.
Back to the centre of the ground. Dan Foley and Harry Poole in the ruck for the Eagles. Dan Foley wins the tap down to the path of Cable. Taps that forward into the path of Joe Foley, but he's wrapped up in a tackle there, and the umpire will call for a ball up. Balls. No one gets their hands on that one, and there's a free kick to Dan Foley against Poole. He goes wide looking for Matt Hamlin. He marks in front of Cable. Kicks his high to the forward line looking for Powell. And he's just too strong.
Yeah,
Too strong for O'Brien.
yeah. Far too much upper body strength. He held his ground and then just went with the flight of the ball at the last minute. Runs around on his right foot, kicks a goal to the Waterview Street, southern end of the ground.
That's his third. So that's the third goal for the quarter for the Lions.
Well, Dan Foley's just given him a lesson round the ground and also in the rucks in the centre, Andrew, and marking around the ground. He's in everything. He's got plenty of support. His brother Joe doing a great job down there in the back pocket. He's marked everything in sight.
Jack McKegg's probably saying, you stay there, Dan. I'm not coming back into that centre bounce.
Yeah, he's had enough for today. We'll get ready for Coolaman.
So free kick there to Dan Foley. Poole shepherding in the ruck. Kicks it forward and finds Matt Hamlin.
The Eagles just can't afford to give those ones away against a superior opponent.
Looks for Powell. Good pressure there by O'Brien. Powell regathers. He's tackled. And the umpire will call for a ball up. Poole comes charging through and bowls over Jack McKegg and gives another free kick away.
Dear oh dear, he doesn't seem to be learning, Andrew.
No, he looks like an experienced player, but
a little bit flustered today, I think. He's trying to get clarification from the umpire what he did wrong.
Jack McKegg coming in, shot on goal. Kick looks good off the boot. Our goal umpire likes it, and it's another one for the Lions. Jack McKegg's second goal.
The Lions are 12-7-79. The Eagles are 1-3-9 with 17 minutes gone now in the term. The melees have ceased and the Lions have taken back the scoring. That's the best way to handle that.
Back to the centre of the ground. Foley and Poole in the ruck. Ball's high. Poole wins the ruck. Down to the path of Tonas. He's wrapped up in a tackle. Poole wins that ruck. Tries to come through and regather. Gathered by Olgers. He breaks one tackle, but he can't break the next. Good tackle by Dan Foley, and he'll get the free kick. Comes wide, looking for Matt Hamlin. He marks in front of Renee. Sends this long, looking for Powell. He's got good position. Ball kept inside there by Jackson Conley, gathered by Dale Quilter, and it's O'Brien who takes it over the sidelines. Another throw in. Ball's thrown in, tapped down by Poole. Quilter charges out of defence. His hair past is smothered, onto Veering, back to Bloomfield. O'Brien's running out of room and he's forced over the sideline. Another throw in. Big group of players here in the forward line as comes in. Front position, Poole taps it down to Quilter. Be another ball up. It's not going anywhere.
Textbook throw in there from the young boundary umpire in that position.
McKegg and Poole in the ruck. Taps it into the path of Jake Taylor as a round the corner shot on goal, and it's through for a behind.
Lions 12-8-80. Eagles 1-3-9. 20 minutes, not quite 20 minutes gone now, third term. Plays settle down. The Lions have gone back to their scoring frenzy virtually. They look to trap it in from this kick in.
Cooper Lee looks to bring it in. He's going to be looking for his ruckman in Poole, but he goes short. Finds Dale Quilter in the pocket. Going to kick this one high. It's off the side of the boot. Under it is ball coming through as Burhop, gathered by Bloomfield. Wrapped up the tackle there as Walsh. Poole tries to get a kick away there. Comes to Beale, on to Jake Fairman. Dodges round one, gets his hand pass away. Burhop's wrapped in a tackle, gathered by O'Brien. Back to Bloomfield, on to Borg. Tries to break one, and it's a good strong tackle there by Josh Walsh.
No one gets away from Josh Walsh.
Come inside, finds Zach Burhop. Goes short, finds Tom Anderson, looking into that afternoon sun. He can switch it across. It gives this one a little bit too much air. It goes through the hands of Jack Sussay. Ball's on the ground there, and fight for it between the two teams here in Matters and young Pearson, and it'll be a ball up. Poole and Foley. Gathered by Nate Hammond. Sends this one forward. It's almost marked by Veering. He's wrapped up in a tackle by Jack McKegg, and it'll be a ball up. Jack McKegg sporting that new haircut. Poole taps this down into the path of Borg. He tries to dodge round 1, 2, and he's caught. Good tackle by Jack McKegg.
Yes, that hair hasn't grown much in a fortnight, Andrew.
So Jack McKeggs will have a shot on goal. And it's through for a behind.
Off to the right.
Didn't get good purchase on that one.
12-9 now for the Lions. 12-9-81. The Eagles 1-3-9. 22 minutes gone. Not much presenting for the Eagles.
Ball kicked high by Lee. Jumping high is Dan Foley. He couldn't take the mark, and it's a good tackle by Jake Fairman. It's going to be a throw in front of the broadcasting box here. Foley and Poole on the ruck. Poole with front position, tap down to Borg. He gets his hand pass away this time. On to Wise. He's wrapped up in a strong tackle by Tom Quinn, and there'll be another ball up. 23 minutes into this third term. Foley and Poole wrestle on the ruck. Borg comes charging through, but he's wrapped up by Tom Anderson. Dan Foley in front. Comes down to Jackson Conley. He gets a little deft hand pass over the top to Nate Hamlin into the path of Shannon Butterfield as a kick. Coming through is Jake Taylor. He's wrapped up in the ball. Tackle there. Renee almost gets his head pulled off, which umpire Simon Tardew spots, and it'll be a free kick to Renee.
Yeah, it was always there, that one.
Umpire calls him to play on. He gets his kick away quickly, and Borg marks this in front of the commentary box. She can chip one over the top, looking for Josh Walsh, charging through. It's gathered by Kai Bluefield onto Severin. He's under pressure here. His hand pass on to Hutchison. Gets his hand pass away, wrapped up there in a tackle by Tom Anderson. The ball's on the ground there. Coming is Tom Quinn, and umpire's deemed a throw there. Umpires call for a ball up. Foley and Hutchison the ruck. Foley taps that back into the path of himself there, and he hasn't got possession, and it's a free kick to Dan Foley. He's racking up some big numbers in this game.
Nearly couldn't count them.
Goes inside, finds Jack Sussay. He can switch. He can go wide out to Josh Walsh on that far side. Big spread here by the Lions. Chips one short to Brad Matters. It's another little one over the top, and it's finds Jesse Lander there just shy of Sanar forward. Going to send this long to the goal square. It's going high. Sitting under it is Matt Hamlin, and he takes the mark.
Well, the Lions, Andrew, they've got time, space, numbers. That's very hard to beat when you've got those three things against you.
He kicks that one around the corner.
And it's a goal at the southern end of the ground.
And that's his third.
The Lions 13-9, 87. The Eagles 1-3-9. 25 minutes gone now, so 3/4 time at any tick of the clock.
So he's been racking up a few goals the last few weeks in the forward, going forward there, Matt Hamlin, which is good to see.
Just total domination for Dan Foley.
Dan Foley and Hutchison in the ruck. Hutchison over the top as the siren goes to end the third quarter.
Well, we saw it. The Eagles came out with a little bit more fire, and it didn't result to anything on the scoreboard. Andrew probably rattled the Lions a little bit, and they got sucked in a little bit, but once they got their mind back on the football, they really finished off the quarter pretty well, I reckon.
Yes, well, they polled on 5 goals for the quarter to 0. It was probably the Lions' defence that held up strong there in that first 7 or 8 minutes of that quarter. And then the Lions' forward line went to work. And
of course, the Lions will have to be on their game next week. We welcome the Hoppers down here to the Den, so they won't have it all their way next week, I wouldn't imagine, Andrew. And I think you might have had some scores from around the grounds too there.
Yeah,
earlier.
I'll just have a quick look, Guy.
Interesting out there. You can see if you can pick it up on the camera, both rucks, Dan Foley and the Narandra ruckman, they're having conflab with the umpires. They might be going over the rules a little bit, Andrew, getting a little bit of clarification.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it?
Don't often see that. They've stayed out with the umpires. There's actually 4 players, 2 from the Eagles and 2 from the
ruckman and their captains.
Yeah, so and then the umpire, the goal umpires wave all clear that the scoreboard is correct. So we'll wait. We'll come back. Andrew will give you those around the ground scores when we start for the final quarter.
Ganmain News Agency. Open 7 days. Lotto. Newspapers. The list keeps going. Need some residential or commercial renovations and roofing? Call Matt at RJS Construction.
So the selectors and the crowd clear the ground. Andrew, you've got some score updates there?
Yes, Guy. Turvey Park has a big lead over Griffith at 3/4 time. 85 points. It's a close one out at Colliamby with Brett Delidio playing against the Rock, although he sat the third quarter on the bench. His day may be over, but it's 15 minutes gone in the last quarter, and it's Colliamby 86, the Rock 84. And in the Riverina League, Wagga Tigers, Leeton Witten, it's Wagga Tigers 62 to Leeton Witten 21 at half time. So interesting scores there as we're back to the start of this game, and umpires thrown the ball up and called for another ball up as well.
We're just starting to get a little bit more voice from the ladies up on the hill, Andrew. So I reckon tonight they'll be in fine form. Good luck to them
growing in
too.
confidence. As the ball's cleared there by the Lions through Josh Walsh to Tom Anderson. He sends this one high out on the wing, sitting under. This is Shannon Butterfield, almost takes the mark. On to Nate Hamlin, on to Jackson Conley, back to Shannon Butterfield, on to Sid White. Sends this into the forward line, but it's cut off there by Gus Lee for the Eagles. He's had a good debut for the Eagles. I don't know if this is going to be a permanent position or it's just a one-off game. But he's had a good day for the Eagles as he's kicked one cross goal to O'Brien. He holds the ball up, kicks along the line, looking to Severin. He takes a good mark. And it's a 50 metres there. Umpire Mavridis was calling Brad Matters back off the mark. And this will take Severin up to the wing. As the Lions flood back into defence. He comes wide looking for young Warren Porteous, but he can't take the mark and it goes over the sidelines. It'll be thrown in.
Got a great view of this, just right down below us here in the commentary position. Umpire Brock Harris throws it in.
Dan Foley with front position, holds his spot. He regathers and bursts away from the pack. Gets a hand pass to Matt Hamlin. He gets his kick forward down, looking for Jack McKeag, but in front is Cooper Lee. He takes the mark. Quite content to hold it up here. He's going to go across goal, looking for Dale Coulter. Finds him 20 metres out from goal. He gets a hand pass back to Cooper Lee. Runs this out of defence. Goes wide, looking for Severin. He takes a mark on the far wing. Hand pass on quickly to O'Brien. Good play here by the Eagles, but it's a good spoil by Joe Foley. And he's forced that one over the sidelines. On his opponent there, Jaden Carroll.
Once again, out there we've got the Ganmain Bakery. We enjoy all those goodies that the bakery guys put together while they work overnight while we're all asleep.
Dan Foley taps this one down in the path of Tom Quinn, who's moved in on the ball in this last quarter and deemed to be kicking in danger there against Tom Quinn. And Gus Lee will take the kick. Looks to send this deep into the forward line for Narandra, but it's all Dan Foley. Takes a mark in defence. Comes into the centre of the ground, finds Josh Walsh. Quickly hand passes on to Tom Anderson, on to Jack Sussay. Gets his kick deep into the forward line, looking for Jack McKeag. He sits under this one and cops a little shove, but keeps his feet. Gets a hand pass back to Jack Powell. All he needs is a good bounce. He falls and hand passes to Sid White, who goals.
Goal to the Lions, northern end of the ground, first score of the term. Lions 14-9, 93, Eagles 139 with 4 minutes gone. It was always going to happen. Took a bit to get there, Andrew.
Yes, yeah, it certainly did.
There was a bit of stumbling and fumbling, but the result counts.
Jack Powell was hoping for a good bounce, but the ball stayed low.
That's what will happen in this game.
So back to the centre of the ground. Foley and Poole continue their tussle. Poole wins this one, but gathered by Matt Hamlin. Gets a hand pass back to Tom Anderson. A good bounce for him. He kicks this forward. It's a floating kick. Under it is O'Brien. Powell tries to gather it. It's going to be a ball up there deep in that pocket as that sun starts to go down.
It was starting to get a little bit of bite in the air now in this winter afternoon.
Poole and Jack McKeag in the ruck. Poole taps it down to Cooper Lee. Gets his kick away, but it's straight into the arms of Sam Martin across the half-forward line there for the Lions.
He'll be looking to give it off. Well, he's gone back to... No, he's going to give it off.
He skips it short, and on the end of it is Lucas Hattie, who'll go back and have a shot on goal.
The opportunist presented himself, and Sam Martin delivered it to him.
He has the 1 goal, 2 so far for this game.
We've got a great view of this directly behind him.
Puts the mouth guard in the sock.
Have to kick from 45. He'll have to give it everything. Comes in on that right foot. No, it's off to the right.
Still going to be in the field of play as Poole jumps high and marks that one in the last line. Plays on. Kicks wide. Finds Gus Lee. Go wider again.
No, he's gone way.
But it's too wide.
Yeah, way wide there.
Looking for Mellon, but it's gone out over the sidelines. Sam Martin to take the kick.
So once again, Sam Martin looking for options. Dan Foley presents.
He switches again, goes wide, right across to his brother Joe, on to Zach Burhop, who has a running shot on goal, but he misses to the left, through from behind.
Lions 14-10, 94, Eagles 139. Lions putting all the pressure on in the last quarter at the northern end of the ground.
Cooper Lee comes in short, finds Borg.
A message from Sam Martin, they don't want to let up in this last quarter. They get ready for Coolum next week. Big clash here.
Poole tries to mark that one, gathered by Shannon Butterfield, and he's tackled there by Bogue. Right on centre forward. McKegg and Poole in the ruck. Poole with front position, taps it down to Borg. He can't break the tackle. It's gathered by Jesse Lander, gathered by Odgers, back to Gus Lee, comes wide and finds Severin, but he can't take the mark, spills it onto Josh Walsh, to Sam Martin, back to Jake Fairman. He sends this one back in long, under it is Lucas Hattie. He flies high, gathered by Jack McKegg, and has a one-step snap at goal, and it's touched. Umpire's calling touch, it's a behind. 2 goals, 2 for Jack McKegg for the day.
Lions 14-11, 95, Eagles 139. Once again, the Eagles players forced to gather the football northern end of the ground. Andrew, next week against the Hoppers, it'll be one of those big days, won't it, with juniors?
Yeah, same day footy, Guy.
So we'll need all our volunteers to step up. I'm sure they will.
Be a big day in the canteen, juniors and seniors.
Yeah, it should be a great spectacle. We welcome the Hoppers here to the Den.
As Cooper Lee brings this one in, he kicks it high to the wing. Under it is Josh Walsh, spoiled by Poole, into the path of Renee. He gathers, swings around on his left, gets his forward. Ball's goes through hands there. Seb Hamlin tries to pick it up, but Joe Foley gathers onto his brother Dan. Goes wide, finds Jackson Connolly. He can turn back inside. Chips one short, but down the throat of Cooper Lee. He'd be disappointed, Jackson, with that one. Cooper kicks wide, finds Bogue in the middle of the ground. Kicks one high. Got numbers here. It's young Warren Porteous. He marks.
No one virtually thought of him except now for the Eagles. There was no one for him to wheel and go to for the Eagles.
They were all in defence and had to push back as he goes to the centre of the ground. Numbers here for the Lions. Gathered by Dan Foley. Handbasses over the top. It's on the ground, but coming through Zach Burr. He can't pick it up. Ball's on the ground there, and it's misplayed by the Lions.
Yes,
it'll be a ball up.
The Eagles have all been forced into that defensive pattern. The young player there, he was desperate to wheel and go, but there was nowhere to go, no one to give to.
Seb Hamlin gets that out of the ruck, on to Tom Quinn. Racing for ball is Nate Hamlin. He's met strongly by Quilter there, and tackled by Bloomfield, and he's caught with the ball.
Have an opportunity now for the Eagles.
Gives one to Lee, but he's got to come back on his right, and he's got to retreat. Goes back to Quilter. Runs around the back and gets a hand pass and sends this in long and high. Sitting under it is Dan Foley, but it's his brother Joe who stands tall on that occasion and takes the mark. He's put a hospital pass to Matt Hamlin and spoiled by Bloomfield, gathered by Renee. He has to go back to Olgers. He kicks this high. Sitting under this is Dan Foley and takes the mark.
The everywhere man.
Goes across goal, finds Jake Fairman. He can chip one over the top. It's gone high. Spoiled by Seb Hamlin, gathered by Jack Sussay, and he's wrapped up in a tackle. Took possession and took the tackle, and be a ball up here in front of the commentary box. Ball thrown up, tapped back by Dan Foley, gathered by Gus Lee, kicks high, but sitting under it is Josh Walsh. It's all the Lions there in that last line of defence. He goes wide to Joe Foley to Sam Martin. Martin, he kicks wide out to Sid White. The Lions, plenty of runners here. Matt Hamlin, but his hand pass from Sid's errant, gathered by Matt Hamlin and picked up by Cooper Lee. Gets a kick forward, looking for Bloomfield. Coming to cut it off is Joe Foley. A hand pass to Nate Hamlin. He's directed to kick long. He kicks down that boundary line, sitting under his Quilter, and under it is Zach Burhop, and it's punched over the boundary by Quilter, and it'll be a throw-in.
Andrew, Joe Foley's been doing that mopping up all day across that back line.
He's very mobile for a 6'3" player. There's not much meat on him, but he's had a good day. Ball thrown in there, tackled by Jack McKegan. He regathers, gets his hand pass away, inside to Hutchison. His hand pass is smothered, and there'll be a throw-in.
Once again, a throw-in there in front of the sports club. Won't be long, we'll all be able to get up there and enjoy the warmth and the hospitality of each. We welcome the Eagles up there for the awards.
Ball thrown in, Jack McKeag taps it down into his arms, gets a hand pass away to Tom Anderson, and
Legged, was he? No, not playing.
I think
it.
you just said that momentum forward guy, and he's
just looked like it.
He's gone over the boundary line with the ball. It'll be a throw in. Ball thrown up. Jack McKegan swaps that down into the path of Lucas Hattie, was it? And the umpires deemed Tom Quinn to be caught with the ball, and the free kick will go to Tom Quinn. He actually made the tackle, and he'll be rewarded with the free kick, and he'll go back and have a shot on goal.
Well, this is a bit of an unusual one. We've got Tom Quinn, one of the reliable backmen. He's found himself in the forward line. He'll have to kick from about 45. He's probably about a 45-degree angle. It's a nice drop punt. Doesn't quite make the difference, and the players see it over the pack for one behind. Lions 14-12, 96, Eagles 139 with 13 minutes gone now in the last turn.
Cooper Lee to bring this back in. He'll go short, but he's miskicked, looking for Blake Renee, and it's out on the full. And the free kick will go to Shannon Butterfield, deep in that forward pocket.
That's an unforced error there from the Eagles. They can't afford that. They're up against it enough as it is. Shannon Butterfield shapes it up. No, he gives it off, passes it off, spots up Dan Foley.
Improves the angle.
Have to kick from 45. Dan will cover this distance. Accuracy will be determined. Comes in on that right foot, drop punt.
Kick looks very good.
Clears the pack, goal to Dan Foley, northern end of the ground here and halfway through the final term.
He's had a very good day.
Oh, he's had a great day, Andrew. He's having a good year. Lions 15-12, 102. The Eagles 139. 15 minutes gone now. Final term. No, he's just been everywhere today. He's just outclassed them all around the ground. Should feature in the awards, I'd reckon. He's got plenty of mates.
Collie Ambley's got the win over the Rock by 8 points, and Turvey Park's won by over 100 points. Dan Foley in the ruck, tapped back by Foley, but gathered by Jaden Carroll, kicks his high, spoiled there by Seb Hamlin as Zach Burhop's flung to the ground. Play on, says the umpire. And pass out the back by Seb Hamlin to Jack Sussay. He slips over, he pops one up high, looking for a teammate. Gathered by Joe Foley, and he's wrapped up in a tackle.
The Riverina Football League is a two-tiered competition, Andrew, from the top and the bottom.
Yeah, she got that.
Too much gap.
5 dominant sides. As Jake Fairman gets that one from the ruck back to Josh Walsh. He kicks high, but good body work there by Renee Marks in front of the commentary box. Kicks short, looking for Severin, can't find him. Coming through is Jackson Conley, gets a hand pass, a kick to Tom Anderson, then hand pass to Jake Fairman, kicks this long, looking for power, almost takes a one-hander. Play on, says the umpire. Storming through is Jake Taylor. He has a run and shot at goal, and it's through. Great play, Lions.
Yeah, he swooped on it. He had time to spot up the goals, and the kick didn't let him down. The Lions 16-12, 108. The Eagles 139 with 17 minutes gone now.
So that's Jake Taylor's second goal. 2 goals, 1 for the game. That's exactly what you want from your small forward, that explosive speed away from the contest and then to put it through.
Can the Eagles get double digits before full time, Andrew?
Back to the centre ground. Hutchison high, gathered by Lee. Gus, that is. He kicks this one forward. Coming out to meet it is Sam Hamlin in front of Poole. He's bumped off it. Charging through is Josh Walsh, gathered by Poole. Hand passes forward along the ground, but it's picked up by Jack Sussay back. But it's spoiled there by Jaden Carroll, and it's out of bounds. Be a throw-in.
We've got the Price's Furniture delivery guys there sponsoring.
Poole taps that down, picked up by Jaden Carroll, kicks around the corner. Swooping through there is Cable for the Eagles, and his kick just drifts to the right.
Well, they've hit double digits. They'd rather do it with a goal, but nevertheless, they've hit double digits.
Zach Burhop brings us in and finds Seb Hamlin. He plays on quickly, kicks wide. Good mark there by Joe Foley. It's a long 30-metre hand pass to Sid White. He looks to hook this back inside. Coming to meet it is Hutchins. Hutchison is there as well. Renee's breaks his tackle, gets his hand pass away. It's Lee in the centre of the ground. Chips forward and finds Borg. He can chip another one over the top. Looking for Lee, who's run on. Olger's on the ground. He tries to break one tackle. Ball's high. Coming through is Burhop, gathered by Lee. Front position is Severin, and it goes through his hands and through for a behind. 20 minutes gone in this last quarter. Zach Burhop brings it in. Finds Sam Martin short. Hand pass back to Zach Burhop. Goes wide. Puts it out in front of Jackson Conley, but he's beaten to the ball by Cooper League. Hand passes back to Dale Quilter. Chips one looking for Bogue. He can't pick it up. Gathered by Shannon Butterfield. Hand pass to Joe Foley. Onto his brother Dan. He's not going to give it back. He kicks it forward looking for Matt Hamlin. Gathers it at his feet. Gives one on to Joe Foley, who's pushed on. In front of the scoreboard. Comes back through inside and finds Jack McKegg 45 metres out. Can give a little one over the top and finds an unmanned Sid White 30 metres out from goal on a tighter angle.
Good effort once again. We've been talking all day, Andrew, but Joe Foley he just kept running out there on that wing. Got repeat possessions. Even though the game is done and dusted, he just kept presenting. It's across the face for one behind at the northern end of the ground. Lions 16-13, 109. The Eagles 1-5-11.
Renee brings this in and kicks a worm burner and finds Jaden Carroll, who's forced to play on. Back to Renee. Goes wide and finds Warren Porteous. He holds it up. Tries to look for Lee, but it's a one-handed cut off there by Sid White. Sends this back in long and high, sitting under his power. Front position, it's gathered by Jackson Connolly. On to Jake Taylor, back to Tom Anderson, and he slots it through for the Lions.
He likes it.
Much to the delight of the ladies. He gets his first.
Lions 17-13, 1:15. Eagles 1:5-11. 21 minutes gone now, so... Eagles just got to endure another 5 minutes. We wait for the ball to be retrieved from the northern end of the ground. Take the opportunity to thank all our sponsors, even those that are not represented on the fence signs. You're very much needed by the club. Dying stages this game against the Eagles.
Hutchison and Foley in the ruck. Picked up by Tom Anderson. He tries to get his hand pass away. Ball comes out to Sam Martin. Little one back to Dan Foley. He kicks wide. Shannon Butterfield just drops that one mark under pressure, but coming through is Jake Fairman. Sends this back into the forward line. A big leap by Sid White. Clearance here by Narandra. And Bogue marks there at centre half back. Fakes the handball, being called to play on. Dodges around his main opponent, Jackson Connolly, and kicks wide. Finds Cooper Lee. He can kick on forward, looking for Gus Lee. Been good contributors, these three, for the Narandra Eagles today, as he sends this long and high, looking for Poole. But coming through is Josh Walsh, who spoils. Hand pass there from Narandra, and a flying shot on goal from Jaden Carroll, and kicks a late one for the Narandra Eagles.
A belated one, that one that I've been trying to get them, Andrew. So they've managed to score one. Lions 17-13, 1:15. Eagles 2-5-17 with 23 minutes gone now. Players just going through the motions, really.
Five-point lead to Temora over CSU, and Mara and East Wagga are both well clear of their opponents. Dan Foley and Isaiah Hutchison in the ruck. Hutchison wins that tap, but gathered by Tom Anderson. He's tackle, gets his hand pass away to Dan Foley, onto Nate Hamlin, streaming off half-back, sends this one deep into the Lions forward line, jumping high as Powell. He can take the mark. Gathered by Aldous there for Narandra. Clearance kick by Renee here. Front position, Sam Martin. It's gone over him and Aldous' head. He races for the ball, tries to pick it up. He's gathered, can come inside on his left and finds Jackson Connolly at centre half forward.
Right on the arc of the 50.
Kicks this one low and long and looking for Sid White. The ball's on the ground there. Clearing kick by Cable. But it's straight back into the arms of Sam Martin. Very crowded forward line late in this game. He can chip one short. Coming through is Lee. He can't gather. Pressure here from Dan Foley. It'll be a ball up right on the 50-metre line there of the Lions.
Probably about the last opportunity for the Lions to score.
Hutchison comes through, taps that down. Lions trying to pick this one up, but Matt Hamlin's tackled in a strong tackle. Umpire will ball it up. Dan Foley taps that down. It's gathered by Hodges. He tries to break one tackle. He does. Gets his hand pass away to Lee. Kicks this high. Under it is Josh Walsh. Spoils on Severin. gathered by Wise, back to Beale, inside to Jaden Carroll. Narandra pushing forward here. They got Poole all on their own.
They got the opportunity to score 2 goals in the last quarter, Andrew. They've waited all day to get 2 goals. The big ruckman with that heavily bandaged right leg.
Right on the siren, he kicks Narandra's third. He's second.
Well, you wouldn't exactly say it added any respectability, but it's a goal nevertheless, Andrew. So the final score here at the Gammain Sports Ground: the Lions 17-13, 115. The Eagles 3-5-23. In a pretty reasonably entertaining game of football, Andrew. I think you mentioned at half time that the scoreboard really didn't reflect the standard, but the Lions just far too good.
Yeah, they've run out comfortable winners in the end, and it was good to see some of their younger players show up there today, which will give them great confidence going into next week's game. They've got Coolaman here next Sunday, and then the following Sunday, Colin Gully. So 2 big games for the Lions coming up in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, they're going to need all guns blazing for both those sides coming up. And I think I read, Andrew, next week we've got another one of those games, those health-focused games, because I think there's an emphasis next Sunday with the Coolaman game on the prostate cancer and breast and cervical cancer in the women. So those people from those organisations will have stalls at the ground. Just got to keep talking about those health issues. 2 weeks ago we had the Bluebell guys here when we played for the Bluebell Cup, so that was good, and that's gone over well, and they've had some good reviews about what happened on that day. With Baz has set up some images on the Facebook page, so that's good. So next week we'll still be focusing on that on those health issues. But the main focus will be on the first grade clash between the Lions and the Hoppers, Andrew.
Yeah, it should be a great day, guys. Should be a huge crowd here for the same day football, and looking forward to it.
As the Lions head to the den, get their injuries tended to. Jack McKeag might be looking for a bit of ice on those bruises on his tail and his back, I reckon, Andrew.
Yes,
he won't be the only one, but
no, they look like the Lions come through the game unscathed, as did Narandra, and they'll look to push on to next week, the Lions.
Well, we really can't say much more about today. So now the focus is on the next week, the next 2 weeks here for the Lions. So 2 home games in a row for the Lions here at the Den. Baz, you'll be up to it, won't you? You'll be able to stand another 2 games in a row. An experienced operator like you. So thank you very much, Baz. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Tammy. We'll see you back here. See you back here for the clash against the Hoppers next week.